Steve Gamache here with a Chef Knives to Go quick look product video, and this time we're looking at the Kikuichi Warikomi Damascus Gyuto 240mm knife. This line of knives has a core steel of VG10 stainless with a heat treat rating about 60-61 Rockwell. The construction is a stainless cladding over the top of that VG10, and the weight on this knife is about 8.9 ounces, 252 grams. So it's not a light knife, but it is a Western handle knife with a full tang on it, and that will contribute to some weight. But it's got a nice heft to it without being too heavy, if that makes sense. The blade length is generous at 245mm on the edge, and the overall length of the knife is about 14.7 inches. The spine on this is pretty thin. This is a pretty thin overall blade, and it's around 2.1 millimeters overall, and pretty much keeps that most of the way through the blade and tapers down just a little bit where the grind of the knife kicks in, but it still goes through things pretty darn well. Things like onions, you'll get a little bit of lift on it, like horizontal cuts, but not much. And it does go through things quite well. The heel height on this is about 51.2 millimeter back here at the chin or heel of the knife. And the handle is just a good basic pack-a-wood, black pack-a-wood handle with good fit and finish and fairly substantial handle. It's somewhat thin this way and a little bit wider this way, but it's still got a pretty substantial feel. By the way, the balance point on the knife is pretty darn close to a pinch grip, right about there, which is awfully close to a pinch grip. That gives the knife a fairly nimble feel to it. The profile on the blade, as far as the grind, let's go to grind first and look at a choil shot. So it's quite thin at the edge, and this is a high performance knife. The overall knife, as far as edge profile goes, or shape, looks like that. So it's a gentle curve throughout the knife. Not particularly flat in any one area, although it's got a little bit of flat spot at the heel, but kind of a gentle curve, not a whole lot of belly through the whole knife, but a gentle curve. So pretty good for a variety of ingredients. Not a pure push cutter, but it's a pretty versatile knife. What I really like about this knife is the look to it. It's got, as we mentioned before, stainless cladding, but it's a multi-layered cladding, so you get a little bit of a Damascus look where it starts to get ground into the edge, and you can see the edge steel showing right here. And the knife has a hammered look to the finish on the blade flats on each side, so that contributes to non-stick properties and gives the knife an interesting look. So you got the Damascus cladding or layering style showing up on the edge bevel or the grind of the knife down into the edge, and you've got hammering on the flats of the blade or the sides of the blade. You've also got some nicely chiseled kanji on this blade as well. Performance-wise, this is a very good blade. The out-of-the-box edge, I'm going to give it a pretty solid 5, 6 out of 10. It's pretty sharp out of the box, and I think it's pretty well ready to go. The choil and also especially the spine is a little sharp on the corners here, so a little bit of sandpaper could touch that up and make the knife a little more comfortable. But it's a really good performing knife and a fairly substantial knife, but it really feels good in use, and it's quite the knife. It does feel like a quality knife when you have it in your hand. So there you have a really nice VG10 Gyuto, the Kikuichi Warikomi Damascus Gyuto 240mm.